Howdy, y'all. Yep, back with his Airacuda. Well, we got mods. Yeah. We did some internal mods. Actually, I made some new parts to go in it. One mod was actually I opened up the transfer port just a tiny bit. This gun didn't shoot at setting 1. It wouldn't even shoot at all. I mean, it wouldn't even like spit the pellet out. So the transfer port was 166 and I opened it to 172, and then by the time I deburred it and everything, then it gave some gap, because transport was straight up, went wide open on 5, and then it's at 90 on 1, and there was no gaps on either side of it to let any air out, so we took care of that. Another mod I did, which doesn't require anything, is a couple O-rings. And what we're going to do is I want to take you inside at the bench and show you all that right now, and then we'll come back out here and we'll do some shooting. Okay, here's the parts I made for this thing. We're going to be replacing the hammer spring adjuster with this one. It's got a 1/4-28 tapped into it. That'll give us a little bit more adjustment. Besides adjusting the whole thing out, then we can adjust to this. Hammer spring guide, I made it a little shorter. I'm thinking that if you was to really try to preload this spring up a lot, this one will actually be hitting in the bottom. So just shorten it up a little bit. We also made this little flat piece, and what it's going to do is just going to drop right down in there to give it some preload. This was 1/8 of an inch. We can make some different sizes and play with that if we want to. So we're going to start out with an 1/8 inch. Next thing I've done is in here the valve spring that holds the poppet closed, I think it was too tight. I was looking in there, and man, the coils will look like it was almost binding up. So I backed that up. Now I'm not going to tell you how much I backed it up right now until I find out if this works or not, because you messing with this can mess with your valve timing, your dwell and stuff like that, and that can affect your efficiency and stuff like that. But we're going to start out with where I have it. So can't think of what else there is. Oh, obviously you have this stripper that goes on the end of your barrel, and then the shroud goes over it. This is an 011 O-ring. Let me take it off here. When you put that on there, it just basically butts up against the barrel. And it's fairly tight. It's not like it's really loose or anything. It's a good fit. Probably 2 or 3 thousandths loose fit. But I put that 011 O-ring on there, and this has got a little bit of a 45 on it. Put that on there, and that'll give it some cushion and help center it up. Also, this O-ring here don't know if there was not supposed to be one on there or not. I mean, there's an O-ring groove there, but I didn't have no O-ring on it, so I got me an 017 O-ring and put on it. That is that makes it nice and snug inside of the shroud. That'll be going in here, and that's just snugged in there. Next thing too is this little hole right here. This 16th hole. That's a 16th hole, and that's going to be when you're got this over the barrel. That hole is facing down. You know, just in front of the barrel nut. Now, somebody was asking online who does that and what's it for? Well, when you got this air stripper and it strips that air off and it comes back, it wants to go back down your shroud. If you put that little hole in there, that lets some of it escape. Because what the stripper is trying to do is remove air from behind the pellet. And when it fills the tube up, and then it still has to come back out, well, that little hole gives you a little bit of relief in there to let some of it out. Now, don't be drilling no 1/4-inch hole. That's only a 16th hole. Don't be drilling no 1/4-inch hole or anything like that, because you're just going to get a lot of crap blown all over you. Just a small hole, just to give it a little vent. So that's our mods that we're going to start out with. All right, so that drops in there like that, like I said. Hammer spring, guide rod, the new adjuster, and I made me a spanner wrench. And I made the spanner wrench to fit the nut on the shroud. So I just went ahead and copied that on this side. Got a relief in it for that. I have to take it back in and turn this down a little bit though. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that all the way in between the two pieces, giving us more preload. That's where we're going to start from, and then we can come back in and adjust that more if we need to, or we can go make us another shim to go in the inside of there. Let's see what's next. I'm going to put the pressure tube on. Hand tight's all that needs. Now we're going to put the barrel on. Get a little Now, when I was thinking about it and I seen the thimble here, the transfer port in this thing, mine would not actually even fire on setting 1. The transfer port, when your transfer port is on 1, your transfer port is basically this way. And when you're looking at the hole on the top, you know, looking at it from top, it's this way. There was no gap between it to let any air out at all. So I opened it up a little bit. I did do that. I opened it up to 172. It's 166 stock. But then I deburred it some so that when it's on the 1 setting, there is some gap. To let a little bit of air out. A wrench. Take this 1 set screw out so I can see the dimples on the thimble. Yeah, I think I already passed it up. Yep, looks like I went one round too much. I know y'all can't see that on the camera, but there's a dimple on that brass thimble. Yep, dropsies. Get this other one in here. Barrel nut and back it up. I don't have my wrench in here. Snug that up. And you got to make sure it's a metric one. See, this is 300 millimeters. All right, let's put the shroud on there. Here's our 16th hole. Good and hand tight. And see, my hole is, you know, you can't see it, but it's dead on the bottom of the tube. All right, we're gonna see, where's the baffles are going in. And now our the nut. Now I put a hex on it, but I don't think you're going to need it. Put that O-ring on there, and that'll keep the tension on it. Yeah, that'll work. that on. Put the barrel band on. All right. I need to tighten this up some more, and I'll do that off camera after I modify my tool a little bit. But I can tell you right now, that's a lot tighter than it was before. It's already got more resistance to cock it. All right. We'll get the rest of it assembled and we'll get back out to the range. All right. We're going to do the same things we did to begin with. On the field tune, we're going to shoot a magazine at 10, check pressure. I'm starting at 3,000 psi. We'll shoot a magazine at 10, check pressure, write down all the velocities, and we'll do a graph like we did on the other ones and compare it kind of. So we know that the max we hit last time was 834, and that was like, as it was rising, just as it started to run out of here, it got to max velocity and then it just stopped dropping off. So hopefully we can get on up there and hold it a little flatter line this time. Now, we're not gonna get no 100 shots. So, you know, I'm looking to get 40 to 50 good shots, and that's what the gun is actually advertised as, is 40 shots. So anyway, it's the gun hasn't been sighted in yet, so got the target at 30 yards. I'll try to do a little adjustment if it's close enough where we can see the group. I'll leave it and make adjustments between magazines. Like I said, write down all the velocities, and we'll do a graph. Hmm, 600. That ain't good. There we go, 890. I don't know what was up on that first shot. $900. $899. About an inch high. And it's not reading them. Let me move the chrony a little bit. We've lost a couple shots there. Sun's still up above the trees here, but 2. Alright, pretty respectable, right in the 900 range. Good little group too, about yay big. Alright, we'll do the rest of them and we'll be back. Okay, pencil here. That was that first shot, and I don't know why it was so low. It was only 600 something. Then we started in around 890 and put the next 9 right there. I moved down to here. That's 10 there. That's 10 of them here and 10 of them there at 30 yards. Now, if we drop this one off, we started in about 890s range, and at the end of 40 shots we was pushing right around 900 again. It peaked between these two. Well, no, let's see. I went here, 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 then here. Between these two it peaked at around 950, maybe a little over that. I don't remember the exact number. So in 40 shots we had a bell curve of about 50 feet per second, and we basically hit our target of 40 shots per fill. This last one here, I was aiming level with these two, but I had the two mil dots over, so basically the crosshair was about right in there. And shot this group here, and on the 50th shot we was down to around 870. So that's what we got right now. All right, we're going to refill the gun, and we're going to shoot on setting 4. We're going to shoot a couple across the chrony just to see what it changes, and then we'll shoot on 3, 2, and 1 and see how much velocity changes it does. All right, we're losing daylight here. Sun's going behind the trees, so I'm on setting 4. I'm going to try to take 2 shots and see if it'll read it. $9.15. $9.24. All right, let's go down to 3. $8.14. $8.18. All right, let's go to 2. $6.05. And boy, did you can tell it pellet drop too. $6.12, but almost put it in the same hole. All right, setting 1. $375. It actually hit the wood on the bottom of the target. $379. So now it's at least shooting on the 1 setting. We may go make a little bit of adjustment again. Now, this is what I done was once I assembled the gun, and I know I mentioned it when I was showing you on the bench about that valve spring where it was. I came out here and shot 3 shots across the chrony just to make sure everything was going to function, you know, before I even tried to do a video. And I was hitting 960s. And you could tell it was wasting air. It sounded like it was wasting air just by the tone of it. So I went back and adjusted that back in halfway of what I moved it out. And that seems to be about right now. It's pretty close anyway. What I may do is go in and tweak it just to maybe another quarter turn or so, half turn. It doesn't take much. Back out a little bit just to get that velocities up just a little bit more. Maybe I shouldn't. Now I'm thinking about it. When we were shooting the JSB 18.1s, putting them out there at 900, I would say the average was 925 on these things. That's probably about as high as you want. I'm not sure. I may do a little research on it. Let me go grab some 14.1 or 14.3s right quick. Okay, we got a couple Craftsman Premiers in here. And I got setting back on 5. $1,030. We may have it set about where we want it. $1,028. Wow. And we don't even have the 1/4 inch set screw in here affecting the hammer spring yet. I don't know if we want to mess with that or not. I don't know, we're going to do some more testing. I'm not going to be able to do a graph this time. I think on my very first video, my chronograph messed up on me and I didn't catch it. For some reason it's just shutting off and turning back on, and when you do that it reverts back to group shot string 1, and I didn't see that, so I don't know where the shot string was, but I just went through it. I know that I hit a high at 955, and I want to say that the first shot was 890, and it just kind of grew up from there, and then, like I said, went back over. Like say too, we lost a big shot count, but we got the velocities up. I know a lot of people kept telling me, oh, velocities are way off, way off. Well, I knew that, but I was trying to prove a point of what you could do without doing anything to the gun. So that's what we got right now. We may do some more tuning on it just to see what it'll do. But yeah, right now Craftsman Premiers 1,030. I know that's fast, but I don't know if we want to keep it up that fast or not. We may want to tone it down some. We'll let y'all give me some feedback on it and tell me what y'all think. I should bring it back down some. All right, thanks for watching.